Your top stories this evening, sponsored by Courts, bringing value home. The incumbent celebrates victory. Norton says there is still a path to victory. Commonwealth sounds alarm on Guyana's elections. Distrust, media bias, and misinformation highlighted. EU observer mission warns of incumbency advantage, weak transparency in Guyana's electoral system, trust in GECOM eroded by political influence, and US to navigate around the Win Party in Parliament. There are ways to work around it, says US Ambassador Nicole Thirio. HGP Nightly News begins now. Good evening to our viewers here in Guyana and online. I'm Travis Chase with the Wednesday, September 3 edition of the HGP Nightly News. We have what you need to know this evening. Although the Guyana Elections Commission is yet to announce a winner for this year's general and regional elections, the incumbent party has begun celebrations. Leader of the opposition, Aubrey Norton, says there is still a path to victory through Region 4, while leader of the Assembly for Liberty and Prosperity Party, Simona Brooms, said the three major parties are aware of the results and should publish it. Marvin Cato opens our broadcast this evening.
The Guyana Elections Commission is yet to announce the winner of the general and regional elections. However, General Secretary of the People's Progressive Party Civic, PPPC, Bara Jagdeo, has rushed to announce his party has won the elections.
I don't want to call the election results because we are awaiting the official declaration. And I think political parties should await GECOM making an official declaration. But given the system that we've introduced, there's no mystery any longer.
The General Secretary went on to disparage political opponents for not saying what the results look like.
And so I don't see why political parties are speaking the nonsense that they're speaking about wait GECOM official results. And one party said, like Mr. Norton, he still sees a pathway to victory, when everything is in the public domain already.
Opposition leader Aubrey Norton, in his retort to the fanfare, has asked for calm and the continuation of the process to its eventual conclusion.
Do anything to ensure that the results of these elections are the true results. We will stay on top of it to ensure that no irregularities occur at this stage. And we do believe once there are no irregularities, then there's a pathway to victory.
Simona Brooms, on the other hand, is of the view that the major parties are aware of the results and they should come out and say to the nation if they have lost and concede and move on.
It's time we operate more mature rather than just dodging here, there, and all over.
The Assembly for Liberty and Prosperity ALP leader was critical in her analysis and reminded that the information comes from SOPs, not tally sheet anymore.
You know, the bigger players, they had persons at all these polling places, Idris, so they have the SOPs.
Marvin Cato reporting for HGP Nightly News.
Thank you, Marvin. The Commonwealth Observer Group has warned that Guyana's 2025 general and regional elections, while peaceful on the surface, were clouded by serious issues that threaten confidence in the country's democratic process. From lopsided media coverage to the spread of misinformation, the group says all these point to a serious issue if not rectified immediately. Javon Vickery has more.
At a press conference in Georgetown on Wednesday, chairperson of the Commonwealth Observer Group, also former Foreign Affairs Minister of Tonga, outlined concerns ranging from mistrust in the Guyana Elections Commission to imbalances in media coverage and the unchecked spread of misinformation. The team said during their consultation with various persons revealed a deep sense of unease about the Election Commission's transparency and preparedness. They described a quote-unquote significant trust deficit between GECOM and the public, echoing criticism that has surfaced in nearly every electoral cycle since 1992. Stakeholders raised particular worry about the reliability of the voters' list, which some political actors insist is inflated. Interestingly, the Observer Group also turned its attention to the media. State-run outlets were criticized for giving disproportionate coverage of the governing party, while several private outlets admitted to censoring themselves for fear of victimization. New and smaller parties reported being squeezed out of the traditional platforms altogether, forcing them to rely almost exclusively on social media, according to the group.
However, there were concerns raised about the disproportionate coverage of the governing party by the state media. We recommend legislation to provide equitable access for all candidates and political parties.
The observers said this distorted the public conversation, fueling suspicion and division at a time when ethnic polarization already looms large over Guyana's politics. They recommended the creation of an independent fact-checking body to help restore trust in information shared during the election. The mission also noted troubling reports of intimidation.
The group was also made aware of allegations of intimidation of public sector workers, local business owners, members of civil society groups, and community members who reportedly feared losing employment or economic opportunities if they failed to demonstrate support for a particular party.
The findings mirror concerns voiced by other international observer missions, including the Carter Center and the Organization of American States. Both organizations have repeatedly highlighted weakness in GECOM structure, the need for a clean voters list, and the dangers of the media bias and information. In 2020, similar criticisms dominated their preliminary reports, with both bodies urging reform to prevent contesting outcomes. The Commonwealth's latest assessment suggests that many of these same structural problems persist, despite legislative updates in 2022, meant to clarify electoral rules. Javon Vickery, HGP Nightly News.
Thank you, Javon. Democracy in Guyana will remain incomplete without stronger trust in the electoral system. That was the message from the European Union Election Observation Mission, as it noted that while GECOM efficiently managed the polls, political influence continues to cast doubt on its work. Find out more from Tiana Cole.
Chief Observer Robert Bidron of the European Union Election Observation Mission, EUEOM, stated during a press conference that although GECOM managed the elections in an efficient manner, its decision-making process remains heavily influenced by political division, which has weakened public confidence in the institution.
We need to build trust in the institutions. When there is a lack of trust within the institutions, especially electoral institutions, then we are all losing on that.
He stressed that mistrust arises when institutions fail to operate in line with democratic principles, the rule of law, and respect for regulations.
The political influence over the especially independent institutions always bring harm, and this should never happen. This demolishes the trust among people.
Bidron further noted that political discourse and platforms such as Facebook and TikTok was dominated by a small number of influencers, many of whom appeared closely aligned with major political parties. He emphasized that democracy cannot be considered complete without freedom of expression, including diverse and independent media voices across both traditional and digital platforms.
Some of the influencers were very much politically engaged. We also observe misinformation, disinformation circulating in social media.
Despite these challenges, he pointed out that the mission observed a number of independent journalists and social media influencers who played an important role in distributing credible information to the public. Tiana Cole reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
Meanwhile, although the Carter Center has deemed the voting process in the just concluded elections smooth, the election observer body has called on policymakers to institute reforms in a bid to deliver a trustworthy and credible electoral process. Antonio Day will tell you more.
Jason Carter, chairperson of the Carter Center Board of Trustees, stated that lawmakers need to reform the electoral process to ensure fairness and build public trust, although the Guyana Elections Commission has not yet announced this year's winner.
On constitutional reform, to implement campaign finance reform, to ensure, it is especially important, equal access to public information about the contracts that are occurring, about the things that affect people in their daily lives. And this is a crucial issue between elections.
Mr. Carter stated that approximately 50 Carter Center observers visited 234 polling stations at 204 polling locations across all 10 electoral districts on Election Day. He said that the election observer body visited all 17 tabulation centers.
Across the country, our observers on Election Day found that polling staff, party agents, GECOM conducted themselves well and with professionalism.
The chairperson of the Carter Center Board of Trustees noted that his observer team found no irregularities during voting. However, Nightly News questioned Mr. Carter about incidents of voters taking photos of their ballots and sharing them online. This was the response given.
No election is going to be perfect in every detail, right? The question is whether those details add up to something, or whether those details are things that can be isolated instances where folks are the polling screen is turned in the wrong direction.
The Guyana Elections Commission had prohibited the use of cell phones in polling booths during the voting process. Somehow, persons still were able to photograph their ballots and post them on social media. Carter, while noting that it is important to follow procedures, still maintained that the body did not detect anything outrageous.
It's important to follow the rules, but the question that we ask is, are these the types of things that rise to the level of a significant problem? And we found that there were no significant irregularities in the things that we've observed.
Carter also noted that to address persistent questions about the size and integrity of the voter list, GECOM should implement the new legal procedures for removing the names of deceased voters. Amid premature disclosure by political parties, such as the incumbent People's Progressive Party Civic, of winning this year's election, Carter advised that this common practice should not be entertained. He urged all political parties to allow GECOM to make the official declaration of results at this year's polls. Antonio Day reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
Thank you, Antonio, for your reporting. Stay with us. There is more news ahead.
Welcome to SNL Electrical Inc., where lighting and electrical needs are met with expertise and style. From the latest in electrical lamps to durable cables, circuit breakers, panels, we have it all. Illuminate your space with our elegant chandeliers, stunning crystal lights, and versatile pole lights. Looking to upgrade your comfort? Explore top-of-the-line AC units and our diverse selections of stylish styles. Visit us at 170-180 Thomas Street, Kitty, Georgetown. Discover a solution that not only lights up your world but transforms it. Call us on telephone number 226-3018 or 223-1634. SNL Electrical Inc., powering your life with elegance, quality.
Mom, did you tell him that Danny went to pick up KFC?
No, wait a minute. Are we really not going to tell him we already have KFC?
A tasty dinner shouldn't be that complicated. Crunch the routine and order a delicious KFC bucket for the best price. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
Thanks for staying with us here in the HGP Nightly News. We tell you that the European Union's Election Observation Mission has concluded that Guyana's general and regional elections were peaceful and orderly, but raised serious concerns about political polarization, lack of transparency, and the ruling party's incumbency advantage, which it says undermined the public confidence in the process. Tiana Cole reports.
The European Union Election Observer Mission, EUEOM, during a press conference on Wednesday, presented its preliminary statement on the elections. Chief Observer Robin Bidron said, while the polls were generally well managed by GECOM and offered citizens meaningful choices, the process unfolded in a highly polarized political climate against the backdrop of oil-driven economic growth.
While fundamental freedoms were largely respected, the campaign was affected by unequal conditions, largely due to ruling parties' incumbency advantage.
Bidron emphasized that although the legal framework provides a solid foundation for elections, gaps remain in transparency and accountability.
While legal amendments were introduced in 2022, further reform is needed to reduce political influence over key institutions and to strengthen citizens' confidence in the electoral process.
He further noted that while GECOM managed the elections efficiently, its decision-making continues to be heavily influenced by political polarization.
However, its decision-making remains heavily influenced by political polarization, which undermine public confidence.
Campaign financing also came under scrutiny, with the mission highlighting that the system is largely unregulated, granting the ruling party significant advantages.
When the line between state and party blurs, voters are disadvantaged and the level of playing field is compromised.
Bidron also criticized the media environment, describing it as highly politicized and tilted toward the ruling party, with independent journalists even facing verbal attacks from senior government officials.
Independent journalists were verbally attacked by high-ranking government officials for their professional stance and asking critical questions.
He concluded that although the elections were peaceful, inclusive, and efficiently organized, key challenges remain, particularly political polarization, incumbency influence, weak campaign finance rules, and a partisan media environment. Addressing these issues, he stressed, is vital to ensuring citizens trust that their vote truly matters and that the process is fair and transparent. Tiana Cole reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
There is word from the United States Embassy that Monday's voting process was smooth. While urging the nation to wait on the final declaration from the Guyana Elections Commission, United States Ambassador to Guyana Nicole Theriot, who headed the United States Embassy's observers team for Guyana's elections, said that the voting process was smooth and calm.
I am so incredibly proud of the Guyanese people and the GPF and everyone who has ensured that this election has been peaceful and calm.
She said Guyana is proving that it is a matured democracy.
I was out in Linden all day on election day, and I also visited some polling stations here in Georgetown. Everything was smooth and efficient and organized. It was such a beautiful thing to see. I mean, Guyana is clearly proving that it truly is a mature democracy.
The ambassador said it was heartwarming to see GECOM officials assisting persons living with disabilities to cast their ballots, but that does not essentially address the issue of accessibility for persons living with disabilities.
But it doesn't address the issue, which is we need to have handicap accessible polling stations. But the other things I saw, people forgetting their ID, but then they would use a passport instead and swear an affidavit and sign the form. And it all worked out. I didn't see anyone being denied voting.
Meanwhile, there were over 2,000 local and international observers for Guyana's general and regional elections. Travis Chase, HGP Nightly News. Meanwhile, the United States says it will now have to work around the Win Party's presidential candidate once he gets into Parliament, given that he remains under United States sanctions. Now that the United States sanctioned the politician and leader of the We Invest in Nationhood, Azruddin Mohammed, is poised to occupy seats at Guyana's next parliamentary sitting, the question that persists is, how does the United States plan to navigate around Mr. Mohammed and his political party? U.S. Ambassador to Guyana Nicole Theriot was approached on Wednesday for a response to this question.
But I can tell you we've had OFAC-sanctioned individuals in governments in other places in the world, several in fact, and we find ways to work around that.
The ambassador said that the United States will not be able to engage in any financial transactions with Azruddin Mohammed. She explains.
We wouldn't be able to work directly with Mr. Mohammed in any sort of transaction or financial situation, but we could work with the other parliamentarians. I assume he'll be in Parliament, the other parliamentarians and other people on the particular committees that we're dealing with. No, there are ways to work around it.
Back in July, the U.S. ambassador had told reporters that the election of an OFAC-sanctioned person to the executive or opposition could impact on the way the U.S. government handles its business.
We will just follow the U.S. law as it prescribes working with OFAC-sanctioned individuals.
The billionaire businessman and his father were sanctioned in June of 2024 for allegedly evading millions of U.S. dollars in taxes. People's Progressive Party civic member May Thomas was also sanctioned in connection with her alleged role for public corruption. After the close of polls for Monday's general and regional elections in Guyana, WIN has made significant inroads into the support bases for the two major political parties. Travis Chase, HGP Nightly News. You're watching the HGP Nightly News. Stay with us. There is more news ahead.
Planning a cleanup? We can help. Sevon's Waste Management skip bins can be provided for home renovation projects, yard cleanup, or construction project. It's simple. Step 1, give us a call. Step 2, we put down the bin. Step 3, load it up with all of your junk. Step 4, we take it away. That's simple. Bins are also available in various sizes, so there is no job that is too big or too small. Call Sevon's Waste Management today at 218-1455.
Mom, did you tell him that Danny went to pick up KFC?
No, wait a minute. Are we really not going to tell him we already have KFC?
A tasty dinner shouldn't be that complicated. Crunch the routine and order a delicious KFC bucket for the best price. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
Multiple FPSOs, drill ships, and support vessels. And this is just the beginning. Life offshore has become a reality for many Guyanese in the oil and gas industry. But in the past, we had to travel abroad to complete the necessary offshore survival training. Now, the training is available right here in Georgetown. I'm getting the skills I need and building the career I've always wanted. I'm Max, and this is what's possible.
Learn more about Max's story and how ExxonMobil's investments are benefiting thousands of Guyanese like him at www.exxonmobil.com/what-is-possible.
The HGP Nightly News. The Assembly for Liberty and Prosperity's presidential candidate Simona Brooms is calling on Guyanese to demand accountability from their leaders. Jada June reports.
Assembly for the Liberty and Prosperity ALP Simona Brooms criticized what she described as a troubling cycle of voters disengaging after the election season and also warned the political representative that they should not disappear once in office. Brooms emphasized that both the government and opposition must represent all citizens, not just the party supporters.
You have to, once you sit there in that National Assembly, you have to represent.
Reflecting on the 2025 campaign trail, Brooms also addressed a branding issue that caused confusion among the voters. She revealed that the ALP's choice of navy blue and white as party colors led to many mistakes. ALP members were supporters of the WIN movement, which also uses blue in its branding.
Regrettably, I think the misjudgment, one of the challenges we see is our color, which is navy blue and white, because the WIN party movement came after.
The issue even forced her team to move a campaign tent after repeated cases of supporters believing her party to be WIN. Brooms suggested that this should spark a wider conversation about regulating party colors to avoid similar problems during future elections.
Even that, as it relates to elections and colors, some amendment there should be where everybody, you have your own color.
For Brooms, navy blue carries a personal significance, tracing back to her years of work fighting human trafficking.
Though I did not choose or pick that color is there to me because human trafficking, navy blue was the color against human trafficking.
Despite these challenges in the ALP's limited resources, Brooms reaffirmed our commitment to contesting future elections and strengthening our party's base. Jada June reporting for HGP Nightly News.
As Indigenous Heritage Month observances began, one youth advocate is of the staunch view that Indigenous peoples continues to face stigmatization due to lack of knowledge on the invaluable contributions they continue to make and the inequalities which exist. Antonio Day reports.
Although Guyana has a diverse population and cultural integration is commonplace, the misconceptions of the Indigenous culture remains a national issue. This was related by Tatiana Norton, an Indigenous youth advocate, during an exclusive interview with Nightly News. Norton, who is also a civil engineer, related that relocating to the capital city from a traditional hinterland home provided better opportunities, academic-wise, but she was faced with constant stereotypes.
Coming to Region 4, then you realize, wait, but I'm educated, I do this, I do a lot of things, I'm not shy, I'm confident, but then you realize, but wait, other persons literally would look at me and have stereotypes, and stereotypes not just against me, but like the Armenian folks as a whole.
Norton noted that evidently more work has to be done in sensitizing the populace regarding the invaluable contributions Indigenous people has and continues to make. The former youth parliamentarian made it clear that Indigenous peoples are capable of attaining academic excellence or any noteworthy achievements like every other ethnicity.
One of my main goals was to be an Indigenous girl that stood out and show others that, hey, we can do way more than this stereotypes. We can break the barriers. We can break generational curses.
As the month of September is designated to the celebration of the nation's first peoples, the youth advocate believes that more must be done to address the disparities which exist in hinterland communities. The 21-year-old said that while noticeably a few women and men, especially those of Indigenous descent, dominate this profession, she is on the verge of changing this current trajectory. Norton challenged youths irrespective of race, religion, or socio-economic background to capitalize on life-fulfilling opportunities and not use these societal norms as a deterrent.
Get into engineering so we can build the future that we want. We can build the society that we want, the infrastructure that we want to see. But one of my goals is to create a youth skills training, mentorship type of thing so that communities in the hinterland could benefit.
Many Indigenous youth advocates have been lobbying for the full representation of Indigenous peoples, as they have lamented the misrepresentation and underrepresentation on their part. This year's Indigenous Heritage Month celebrations will be held on the theme, Igniting Unity, Celebrating Progress, Advancing Our Culture. Antonio De reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
Bartica has opened its very first special needs school, a major step towards building a more inclusive education system in Guyana. Jada June reports.
The Diverse Learning Center, located in Bartica, Cayuni-Mazuruni, Region 7, is designed to serve 25 children and will be initially staffed with 2 teachers. 3 more teachers are expected to be appointed to strengthen the support for the students.
Our children with special needs. We have 25 children, and we have 2 teachers with 3 more about to be appointed, as well as aides.
Minister of Education Priya Manik-Chand assured the parents that the government is prioritizing the development of special needs facilities across the country.
I want to assure parents with special needs children that we are going to be building special needs schools.
The Minister of Education also announced that Region 10, where parents have long requested such services, will soon benefit from a dedicated special needs school. Meanwhile, the construction continues on the school for the deaf at Cummins Lodge on the east coast of Demerara. Valued at more than $194 million, the school began construction in January 2025 and is expected to be completed within 9 months. It will also serve as a specialized resource hub for 30 learners. Minister Manik-Chand further emphasized that the ministry's goal is to integrate inclusivity into all schools. Plans are also underway to add special classrooms in traditional schools, improve teachers' training, and ensure better compensation for educators working with children with special needs.
The aim is to make sure every child across this country could access nursery, primary, and secondary education and go on to free tertiary education. And that would include our special needs children.
Jada June reporting for HGP Nightly News.
Stay tuned for your regional news.
Live the island dream. It's your chance to be one of over 100 winners in the Island Dream promotion. Win your share of more than $1 million in cash and prizes. Plus 2 all-inclusive weekend staycations for 2. And that's not all. Score coolers packed with Buster, Turbo, Altitude, and Viva. Just buy any can or bottle of Turbo, Buster, Altitude, or Viva. Find the code starting with BB. Then visit at Buster Guyana or Turbo_Caribbean on IG or Facebook for details. Live the island dream. Get money. Live the island dream.
Come on, Luna, come on.
Your own home is so much more than just 4 walls, floors, and ceilings. It's a lifetime of great memories and stories. Come talk to us and start your journey home today.
Republic Bank. We're the one for you.
Mom, did you tell him that Danny went to pick up KFC?
No, wait a minute. Are we really not going to tell him we already have KFC?
A tasty dinner shouldn't be that complicated. Crunch the routine and order a delicious KFC bucket for the best price. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
Multiple FPSOs, drill ships, and support vessels. And this is just the beginning. Life offshore has become a reality for many Guyanese in the oil and gas industry. But in the past, we had to travel abroad to complete the necessary offshore survival training. Now, the training is available right here in Georgetown. I'm getting the skills I need and building the career I've always wanted. I'm Max, and this is what's possible.
Learn more about Max's story and how ExxonMobil's investments are benefiting thousands of Guyanese like him at www.exxonmobil.com/whatispossible.
Good evening and welcome to Wednesday's edition of the Regional News. We begin with news in Jamaica. Jamaica's 19th general election today features high-stakes choice between Dr. Andrew Holness, Jamaica Labour Party, seeking a historic third term, and Mark Golden's People's National Party, aiming to return to power. On the line are 63 parliamentary seats, with 184 candidates vying for power in what polls have projected is a tight race to the 32 seats needed to control the House of Representatives. 6 candidates will also contest 3 local government by-elections. The JLP and PNP have a full slate, while the Jamaica Progressive Party is contesting 43 constituencies. United Independence Congress, 7 and 9 candidates are running independently. Of the 190 candidates in total, 136 are men and 54 are women. Turning attention to news in the region, Hurricane Lorena formed off the coast of Mexico's Baja California Peninsula, and a tropical storm warning has been issued for parts of the area forecasted set on Wednesday. The storm is expected to strengthen in the next 24 hours, and heavy rain up to 15 inches, which is 38 centimeters, was forecast for portions of the peninsula, the U.S. National Hurricane Center in Miami said. The weather agency warned of the risk of life-threatening flash floods and mudslides for the area, especially in the higher terrain. Lorena was centered on Wednesday about 120 miles, which is 195 kilometers southwest of Cabo San Lucas, Mexico. And finally, with China, China showcased its largest military parade on Wednesday, featuring an upgraded nuclear-armed missile with near-global reach, air defense radars, hypersonic weapons, and sea drones, capable of crowding its nearby seas, sending a strong message of deterrence. China's leader Xi Jinping used the event to signal to a diverse audience, including the U.S. allies, neighbors, India, Russia, and potential technology buyers. For all the operational questions that surround some of these new elements, China was sending a message of technological advance and military strength on all fronts. There is indeed a lot for rival defense planners to get their heads around, said Singapore-based security analyst Alexander Neil. Thank you for watching. I am Antonio Day. Goodbye for now.
The incumbent celebrates victory. Norton says there is still a path to victory. Commonwealth sounds alarm on Ghana's elections. Distrust, media bias, and misinformation highlighted. EU observer mission warns of incumbency advantage, weak transparency in Ghana's electoral system. Trust in GECOM eroded by political influence, and US to navigate around win party in parliament. There are ways to work around it, says United States Ambassador Nicole Theriot. Those are our major headlines. For these stories and more, please go to our website. It's www.hgptv.com. I'm Travis Chase. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.